Right now might seem like a very good time. However, in reality right now is one of the scariest times I have seen in crypto yet. And I want to explain exactly why that is and why I see it as such and reasons why I'm closing a portion of my positions today. Actually, before this video, I'll tell you exactly what I closed, for what reason, and where I'm looking to re-enter into those positions. But first, I want to really give you the insight as to what has caused me to do so. So let's just get straight into this, because if you're looking at, for example, Ethereum, it looks pretty good. I mean, we had a very nice explosion. Then we actually broke out through this resistance level, which is a very important level for us nonetheless. And we were kind of consolidating. And if you're looking at Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is kind of correcting a tiny bit, and we kind of lost this upwards trend level, and possibly looking to go a tiny bit lower here as a head and shoulders pattern, what people really love to call it. But if you trade like this, please be careful because you're going to lose everything. Anyway, going forward, you can kind of see that Ethereum is currently behaving a little bit better than Bitcoin. And it kind of gives us a small hint towards what I'm going to be discussing in this video. So this is the relation between Ethereum and Bitcoin, and we had this really nice pump of some of the assets and some of the money flowing from Bitcoin into Ethereum, even though on the long-term time frame it's not a big deal, but nonetheless. So that's why Ethereum is currently a bit stronger than everything else, quite frankly. So it looks quite nice. However, it does create a little bit of uncertainty and a little bit of fear in the market for one particular reason. Now that we've understood this, and I mean technically we're still in the same zone, so I didn't really make many videos because there wasn't really much to talk about. But here is what you need to really understand. And let's move on before I actually show you my trades, everything I closed, etc. Let me give you all the bullet points as I always do. And if you appreciate these videos, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and leave a comment for the algorithms, as I like to say. So first of all, if you will see that Bitcoin ETFs, in the last 3 days, they have actually sold Bitcoin, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. While Ethereum, look at this, something has changed. The narrative is shifting. And I think that they're trying to actually hide their traces right now, but we'll get to it in just a second. Look at it. 100 million, 50 million, 40 million, 80 million, 90 million. It's pretty nice. I think we've never had so much inflows into Ethereum ETF. And while Bitcoin's one is actually being sold off, again, before this we had a lot of accumulation, so it still looks great, but interesting, isn't it? But let's move on because I have so many news for you guys. Trump, actually, the federal court just ruled that Trump lacked authority to impose tariffs on every nation, blah, blah, blah. So now that they're appealing this, etc. So I'm not a lawyer. I cannot tell you if he had the right to actually impose all those tariffs. But it adds to the uncertainty. And the very important word here is uncertainty. But again, painting the entire picture before I give you my conclusions. So this is very interesting. So that the entire United States and the federal government is going against Trump and saying that he had no rights to actually impose those tariffs, which actually created the recent crash and gave us so much pain in the market, and especially in the crypto market. This is interesting. Going forward, very important detail here that PCE inflation came out, and previous was 2.3, forecast was 2.2, and actual is 2.1. So we are basically right now at the level of Federal Reserve's interest. So this is where they want inflation to be, 2%, so 2.1. We're extremely close, which kind of would tell you that, which should be some positive news for the market, right? Well, let's keep going. And another hopium in combination with this pretty good inflation reading, Powell was supposed to meet Trump at the White House, which he actually did. And they were supposed to discuss growth, employment, inflation, blah, blah. But in reality, we all know that it was the attempt of Trump to bully Powell to finally reduce rates and possibly go into quantitative easing and actually stimulate the economy and print some money so that his billionaire friends can actually be happy. So, and then there was supposed to be a press conference by Jerome Powell, and everybody was so excited about it because this looks really exciting. All we needed for Powell to do for us to see really some pump is for Powell to say something about it. And there were some actually rumors in the crypto Twitter saying that Powell is about to retire or quit or whatever, and it will be removed, but nothing was confirmed yet. And guess what? Powell came out and he was live. Do you think he said anything? No, absolutely nothing. And now the only thing we're waiting for is for the FOMC meeting, I believe in the middle of June, where they're expected, finally with a probability of 90-something% that Powell will cut rates, and possibly will say something about the stimulation of the economy, given all these facts right here, right now. However, he said nothing here. So, which in a short-term perspective adds to a very important word of this entire video, which is uncertainty. But this is not all. Let's keep going. The next piece of news I really want to give you is, which is incredibly important, and it's seemingly good news. Just like some of these things, even though they're quite strange, but they are good news, except for the fact that they affect nothing at the end of the day, which creates uncertainty. And I'm trying to just lay it out for you, this macro and fundamental analysis in as simple of layman terms as possible. So FTX has begun redistribution of $5 billion to eligible claim holders in its second payout phase. So billions of dollars to flow back into the crypto market, because people do what exactly with the money they receive? They treat it as free money, and a lot of this money is going to flow back into the casino. So they will actually again bet on some of the cryptocurrencies that they believe will do well. Next news, which is going to add to the controversy and the uncertainty of this entire situation here, is that multi-trillion dollars US banks are now officially allowed to stake Ethereum. And everybody was like, yes, finally, Ethereum can be staked, and it means that if they can stake it, this means that also for the Ethereum ETFs, the staking will be allowed. And this will actually dominate the interest and will create a lot of interest for institutionals and a narrative to buy more Ethereum so that they can stake it. Yes, you would think so, and this is great, but this right here is not great. Literally one day later, SEC came out and flagged concerns over crypto ETFs that offer staking rewards, and that they are saying that this is actually in the breach of the law. So, and just from one hand, this is fantastic. From the other hand, this is pretty bad. So short term. And therefore, when you're trying to weigh this all together, this is probably one of the reasons why I said one of the scariest times in the market ever, is because this is probably one of the most uncertain times as to what is going to happen next. That's why if we look at, I'm going to conclude here, I promise, and then I'm going to move to my conclusions and to the trades I've closed and everything else. So Bitcoin dominance, if you pay attention to it, we are currently, again, it's close to all-time highs. Like all the money is in Bitcoin. Everything is floating slowly into Bitcoin, and the altcoins are not doing great at all. Here is my conclusion. So kind of floating into my conclusion. We really want to see the drop in Bitcoin dominance. And finally, because of the FTX distribution, all this, and possibly maybe getting over this, and finally, since inflation is down, hopefully this is going to be sustained, meaning in a sense that Trump's tariffs stay and his authority is not going to be undermined, because whatever, let's not be political, but if this, it's only going to create more uncertainty, and that's not a good thing. And this guy finally in the middle of June will reduce rates, because some say that Trump is trying to push Powell to reduce rates by 0.5. So not 25 basis points, but 50 basis points, and maybe even stimulate the economy. But until this happens, any of this, it is highly uncertain, and there is kind of a high likelihood of this kind of, explosion, consolidation, and BART pattern. I'm not saying this is going to happen. A very important note here. I'm not saying that this is going to happen. However, with everything we're seeing right now, and Bitcoin is kind of losing steam a little bit. If you look at it technically, we kind of broke out. Yes, we had this very important breakout into the all-time high. We kind of hit the all-time high, and then subsequently we lost this level. Then we lost this level. We retested it here, and it is. I'm not saying that we're going to go down to whatever. The thing here is that it creates something that is not clear enough, and we're kind of almost like the price is trying to discover where it wants to go. In my opinion, and our team's opinion, that this week is going to be very fundamentally important for us to understand whether we're actually going higher and seeing an old season, a local one, or we're actually going to go lower and the altcoins are going to be demolished yet again. So for this particular reason, very important note, I'm not selling my spot. 95% of my money in crypto is in spot. 50% of which is Bitcoin. And then the rest is altcoins, Ethereum, etc. I am not selling my spot because a lot of you are cluelessly confused when I say things. If I close my long trade, that doesn't mean I've sold all of my crypto. So my long here, we actually tried to take a long from here, and then it didn't play out. Then we tried to take it from here. It started playing out, but then again, I'm not risking it. So again, I had another basically break-even trade. It's not interesting like at all. So I don't have any open positions here, and I also closed officially, I'm stating this officially, I've closed all of my swing trades as well. So in Ethereum, LDO, and a couple of other ones that I have in my other Bybit account. So I closed with a small profit of about $200,000 because it was like these positions were bigger, 1.25 million. So a small profit of about 180 after all the funding rates and all this bullshit, about $200,000 profit. And what I wanted, I'm not doing this simply because I think we're going to go lower. I think that there might be some manipulations here just because the market is extremely uncertain, pretty weak still. The only thing that is powerful is Bitcoin. So for now, I'm going to hold all of my spot. And once I re-enter into my swing trades or day trades, I'm going to keep you posted. For now, I kind of want to be a bit on the fence considering that it's so uncertain. And I'm following the news, I'm following the analysis, not my emotions. And that's about it. So guys, also important to check out this video right here so you understand the reason why 97% of traders actually lose money. Because when something is uncertain, they keep trading and they end up losing everything. Like this Wynn guy, James Wynn, great guy and all, made 100 million in trading and then lost it all down to 2 million. Very sad. Check out this video. This is also the reason why people lose money in crypto. And he's one of them. So he probably should watch this video right here, unfortunately. Or fortunately. So, and very important to understand that right now when I pull the money out of swing trades and day trades, I put them into passive income. So while you're watching this, I'm actually making money with close to zero risk. So check it out. You'll learn a lot and I'll see you next video.